Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. You are welcome to my YouTube channel, Intermediate Chemistry by Sumaira Mumtaz. The topic we will discuss today is from first year chemistry, chapter 1. And topic name is Find out limiting reactant and according to which solve the numerical. The question is sodium thiosulfate. Its formula is sodium Na2S2O3 that can be prepared by this reaction. 2 moles of sodium sulfide react with 1 mole of sodium carbonate and 4 moles of sulfur dioxide. And after these, when they react together, they will produce 3 moles of sodium thiosulfate and 1 mole of carbon dioxide. How many grams of sodium thiosulfate will be produced when 200 grams of three reagents or reactants, which are sodium sulfide, sodium carbonate, and sulfur dioxide, are reacted together? In this reaction, we have given the mass of three reactants, that is 200 grams of each, and when they react together they produce sodium thiosulfate and carbon dioxide. But the question is, how much amount of sodium thiosulfate is produced when 200 grams of each reactant will react together? In this question we have to find out limiting reactant. And what is limiting reactant? Limiting reactant is that reactant in which is consumed first and it stops the reaction. Also, its quantity is it produces least moles of product. To solve this question, we first of all we have to find out the moles of these reactants. Moles of sodium sulfide, moles of sodium carbonate, moles of sulfur dioxide, and given mass of each reactant is 200 grams, 200 grams, 200 grams. Let's find out their molecular mass. Molecular mass of sodium sulfide is 23 multiplied 2 plus 32. Sodium is 23, that is multiplied with 2 and plus 32, and that is equal to 78. So its molecular mass is 78. And the molecular mass of sodium carbonate is sodium is 23 multiplied by 2 plus carbon is 12 and plus oxygen is O3 and 16 multiply 3, that is equal to 106. Its molecular mass is 106 and molecular mass of sulfur dioxide is equal to 32, that is sulfur, and oxygen is 16 multiply 2, that is equal to 64. And as we know that mole is equal to mass upon molecular mass. Goes same for this, mass upon molecular mass. And the moles of sodium sulfide is 200 divided by 78 will be equal to 200 divided by 78, that will be equal to 2.56. The moles of sodium sulfide are 2.56 moles. and moles of sodium carbonate mass is 200 grams and molecular mass is 106 grams. And 200 divided by 106, that is equal to 1.88 grams. 1.88 moles. And moles of sulfur dioxide is equal to mass is 200 and molecular mass is 64. So it will be equal to 200 divided by 64, and it is equal to 3.12. And moles of sodium sulfide are 1.25 moles. So from given mass we obtained their moles. Moles of sodium sulfide are 2.56 moles, moles of sodium carbonate are 1.88 moles, and moles of sulfur dioxide are 3.125 moles. According to the given mass, we obtained the moles of reactants in which sodium sulfide moles are 2.56, sodium carbonate moles are 1.88 moles, and sulfur dioxide contain 3.125 moles. And our equation is as given: 2 moles of sodium sulfide produces 3 moles of sodium thiosulfate. Now, after obtaining their moles, we have to find out which of these reactants produces least moles of this product. Which of these reactant produces least moles of this product, sodium thiosulfate, and that will be our limiting reactant. So from this equation, 2 moles of sodium sulfide Na2S produces how much moles? 3 moles of sodium thiosulfate. 2 moles of sodium sulfide, according to this equation, 2 moles of sodium sulfide produces 3 moles of sodium thiosulfate. And according to the given mass, we obtained their moles are 2.56 moles. Then how much 2.56 moles will produce the moles of sodium thiosulfate? So this will be multiplied with this 3 multiply 2.566 according to unitary method, divided by 2, and that will be equal to 3 multiply 2.56, and this will be divided to 2, and 3.84 moles of sodium thiosulfate will be produced from 2.56 moles of sodium sulfide. If sodium sulfide is limiting reactant, it will produce 3.84 moles of sodium thiosulfate. These are the moles of sodium thiosulfate, which is the product in the reaction. And according to this equation, 1 mole of, now we have to find out the moles if this is the limiting reactant. 1 mole of sodium carbonate Na2CO3 produces 3 moles of Na2S2O3, If 1 mole of sodium carbonate produces 3 moles of sodium thiosulfate, then how many moles will be produced by its given moles, that is 1.88 moles. 1.88 moles sodium carbonate will produce how much? This will 3 will be multiplied with 1.88 and it will be divided by 1, and this will be 3 multiply 1.88 is equal to 5.64. That means sodium carbonate will produce 5.64 moles of sodium thiosulfate. Now we are going to find out the moles of sodium thiosulfate according to sulfur dioxide. 4 moles according to this equation. 4 moles of sulfur dioxide produce 3 moles of sodium thiosulfate, Na2S2O3, and given moles are 3.125 moles. And according to given mass and given moles, this 3 will be multiplied with this 3 multiply 3.125 and divided by 4. Let's find out. Let's calculate. 3 multiply 3.125 divided by 4, and this is equal to 2.34. 2.34 moles will be produced of Na2S2O3, that is sodium thiosulfate. Now, after calculating the moles of sodium thiosulfate, we have to compare which of the reactant produces least moles of sodium thiosulfate. Sodium sulfide is producing 3.84 moles of sodium thiosulfate, and sodium carbonate is producing 5.64 moles of sodium thiosulfate, and sulfur dioxide is producing 2.34 moles of sodium thiosulfate. So after comparing, we can find out that sulfur dioxide is the reactant that produces least moles of sodium thiosulfate, that is the product in the reaction. So when it will produce 2.34 moles of sodium thiosulfate, it will be consumed, and the reaction will be used completely. It's 200 grams which are given, and its moles are completely used up, completely consumed. And when one of the reactant is consumed, rest of the reactants will remain unused and reaction will be stopped. So this one is our limiting reactant. Sulfur dioxide, it produces 2.34 moles of sodium thiosulfate, so it is the reactant that is consumed first and stop the reaction, and it produces least moles of the product, that is sodium thiosulfate. After comparing the moles produced from each reactant, we can easily identify it is identified that sulfur dioxide produces least moles of sodium thiosulfate. And after the production of these much moles, the reaction will be stopped because one of the reactant is totally consumed. It is totally used up. That is why reaction is stopped. And moles produced of sodium thiosulfate are 2.34 moles in this reaction. Let's find out the mass of sodium thiosulfate Na2S2O3, and that is equal to moles multiplied by molecular mass, and its moles are 2.34 moles and its molecular mass is, let's find out what is the molecular mass of sodium thiosulfate. Sodium 23, that is multiplied with 2, and sulfur is 32 multiplied by 2, and plus oxygen is 16 multiplied with 3, and that is equal to 158. 158 is the molecular mass, and this is multiplied with 2.34 moles. Multiply 2.34 moles, and that is equal to 369.72 grams of sodium thiosulfate Na2S2O3 is produced in this reaction. 369.72 grams of sodium thiosulfate will be produced in above reaction when 200 grams of each reactant is reacted together, and in this reaction sulfur dioxide is the limiting reactant that is completely used up in this reaction, and it stops the reaction and it produces 369.72 grams of sodium thiosulfate, and some of the amount will be unused. Some of the amount from 200 grams of these two reactants remain unused, and this is totally consumed, and it also stops the reaction. Thank you so much. If you don't understand any of the question, any of the point, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Also press the bell icon to never miss upcoming video. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.